this is just what we like about each other. Yeah.
That's
the energy I needed.
It's amazing just how far people will go to find love. Like going on a blind date and having it filmed for the world to see. And that's exactly what we did here. Welcome to 36 Questions Later, where we recorded two strangers asking each other the 36 questions that lead to love. I'm your host, Mady Maio. The questions you're about to hear were featured in the New York Times and date back to a 1997 study. We'll find out how they hold up today. Let's meet today's couple.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great. I'm Sarah.
Tommy, very nice to meet you.
I actually have to run to the restroom
Oh,
first.
yeah, please.
Breathe, Tommy. This is where the date could go either way. He has time to overthink things, or he could try to play it cool. Let's see how it goes.
Great. Thank you.
So this is super embarrassing. I did a total brain fart whenever you said your name, and I already forgot it.
It's Sarah.
Sarah. Tommy.
You're Tommy.
Yes. Okay. Excellent.
Don't worry. I literally, the second I walked in there, I was like, it's Tommy. It's Tommy.
You did the repeat it 3 times thing.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a very good strategy, and I failed to do that. So
I have to say it out loud in conversation normally, or else I also.
Sarah, very nice to meet you.
You as well.
Yeah. There we go. Now we're gonna remember. When did you last sing to yourself? Follow up to someone else.
I sing to myself in the car right here.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Very recently. Yeah.
I sing to myself every time I drive. I lived in New York for a little bit,
Okay.
and I would have to take the subway, and I didn't have that solo commute to sing, and I forgot how much I missed it. So when I got a car and moved to LA, it was like, oh yeah, I love this. It makes traffic a little less worse. You can practice hitting notes that you wouldn't be comfortable singing around anyone else. So I always sing in the car. And then to someone else, I actually was on a family vacation this past week.
Okay.
And so there was many times just during this past week, I would say maybe Wednesday, Thursday, that I was singing to my sister of songs that I'm like, hey, have you heard this song? Or do you know the song?
Do you know the song? And then
do you know this? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love that song. Or like, have you heard this TikTok song that's like, da, 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 da? And
You're
she'd
trying
be
to get her to be the Shazam.
Yes.
You're
She'd be like, oh yeah, I know the
Yeah.
trend that goes with that or whatever. Or I know the artist.
There you go. All right.
What's yours?
Part of my Spotify playlist where it was a lot of late 90s, early 2000s, alternative rock, like Blink-182 and stuff like that. I have a wide, random, eclectic list. But that's probably my most singable
Blink-182?
stuff. Yeah, and so I'm just I was just jamming in my car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, now you're the most recent person.
Yeah, now change Sarah's answer. So that's probably the place I sing to myself the most. Is there? I'm not a big shower singer. I know people do that. I've never.
I live in an apartment with thin walls. Everyone can hear everything. I am only singing in the car.
Yeah, there you go. And then to someone else would be my dog. And not any particular actual song, but I will make up just when I'm interacting with her, I will make up songs. I turn I don't even remember the real lyrics, but I'm a little teapot, short and stout. So instead of singing I'm a little teapot, her name is Brooklyn. I'll be I'm a little Brooklyn, short and stout.
Yep.
Here is my belly, and I'll say, but I'll say instead of I'll be here is her belly, and rubber belly, and here's her snout, and a little bop her on the nose. And she's looking at me what are you doing? So that's the last person I sang to. Would be my dog.
She's not a person.
Yeah. She's a
living
person.
being.
A living creature.
Definitely sensing a vibe here. It's only been a few minutes and they're already finishing each other's sentences. It's not just cute. It shows they're actually listening to each other and interested in what the other has to say. Maybe they're just nice people, but I think there's a spark here.
What is the greatest accomplishment of your life? It's a big one.
First thing that comes to mind is getting sober.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, because it was something that for at least 5 years that I can think back on, I didn't think I was capable of doing.
Yeah.
And doing it has completely changed my perspective of life, and it's completely changed my mental and physical health. And I'm really proud of the work that I put into myself to get there.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
I would love for it to be a career win or being a loving, supportive sister and daughter. But it is.
No, that's a really good one. That's really important, and that's based on your 4-minute life story and everything else we've talked about, that makes complete sense to me.
Well, and getting sober has made me a better friend, sister, daughter.
Yeah, all those other things are true.
Where previously, when I was still actively drinking, I was not the best version of any of those things. So I think that sobriety will help me achieve those other goals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When you were wanting to initially get into the Navy and be a pilot, were you wanting to do it from any place of like serving your country or like proud to be?
I say proud to be an American. Yeah, and all that. No, like for sure, there was definitely like a patriotic bit of it. And like that's why I like went
selfless, really.
Yeah, there was definitely like a bit of like I wanted to serve, and I thought the coolest and best way to do that would be flying a jet around.
That's pretty
with my hair on
badass.
fire with aviators and a jacket and a motorcycle probably.
Yeah, just look really hot.
Just be real hot. Like that was definitely there, but yeah, like no, there like very much was a sense of like service, and like when I did the job that I ended up doing, that like wasn't my first choice, like by a long shot, and was very different than the cool guys with their sunglasses and all that. My like motivation was very much like like, hey, this is like my duty and like my job, and like I swore like an oath to the Constitution and like all that jazz, like that was like what is driving me, plus the relationships with other people who I'm like with, like where I'm thinking about, hey, I'm doing these things to make sure that we operate the ship safely in this place, because if we don't, people who I know could die. Like there's consequences, and so like that definitely motivated me as well. Pilot stuff was probably a bit of an ego thing, a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tommy basically wanted to be Tom Cruise in Top Gun. Sarah gets it. It feels like these two are settling into the conversation. Take notes, kids. This is what a good date is supposed to look like.
What is your most treasured memory?
I went on one of the, probably the longest hike of my life at that time. I've now since done longer distances, but I hiked alone up Yosemite Falls.
Oh, cool, okay.
On my 1 year of sobriety last year.
Okay.
And it was, have you done that hike?
I've not actually.
It's just switchbacks the whole way up.
Oh, geez, okay.
And so I was physically like the most tired I've ever been in my life, and I didn't think I could take another step. I was out of water, I had taken so many breaks. And I got to the top and I looked over the entire park of Yosemite, and it was so metaphoric, because it was like, oh my God, I got through my first year of sobriety, and now I'm looking over the most majestic, beautiful, natural creation I've ever seen in my entire life. And the fact that the hike itself was maybe 6 hours round trip, but it was like the hardest 6 hours of my life, was metaphoric for like shitty 10 years that I'd put myself through. And no one was making me do this hike except for myself. No one was making me drink except for myself. No one made me get sober except for myself. So it was like, there was so many metaphors overlapping that it was just so beautiful. And I wish I could have stayed there all day, but I had to get to a hotel by that night. So I had to end up leaving pretty quickly and drive away, but it was just such a beautiful feeling. It was just like, all the things were aligning to make it make sense.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think there's a lot like...
And I did it alone.
It was
my
yourself,
first really long hike solo. And my parents were scared for me because they were like, people get murdered out there. And I was like, I know, but it is so meaningful for me to do this today, and I have to do it. The funny part though is that I got to the top, there was no waterfall because it was the middle of summer, so all the water had dried up.
Yeah, so just
and so I thought that at the top of this like crazy, momentous hike that I was gonna see like the most beautiful waterfall of my dreams. No, it was like a little pool. But the little pool was freezing cold, and it felt so good on my feet. And it was like, no, it is the perfect metaphor, because you get sober thinking that, oh, everyone's gonna praise you and shower you with gifts, and everything will be resolved, and all of your life problems will go away, and you'll see the beautiful waterfall immediately. No, life gets a little bit better, and you start to see things more clearly, and the little pool of water is a glorious thing.
Yeah.
And it was like the universe was just like jokes. Like the jokes just came back into it. And it was just like, oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, the humor in that is...
So being able to look back on that day and be like, all the things that made it make sense and so meaningful, it was like, yeah, that was it. That was such a cherished memory.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite parts of the 36 questions. Going from most treasured memory to most terrible memory. If you ever try doing these questions, it can really throw you for a loop. But listen to how Tommy shares his lowest low. Joining the Navy to become a fighter pilot, only to find out that he didn't have the vision for it. It devastated him, but it led him to such a powerful realization.
I could go back in time and pick between doing the job and the thing that I wanted to do that my ego was super attached to, or having the relationships that I have now, I choose the relationships that I have now 10 times out of 10 because I value these people so much. And like, it would be like, as much as I wanted to do that, as much as painful as it was, like flipping it like that, like to be like, oh, would you go back and change it now? But I was like, no, like then I would never know these people. Like, you know, the 3 of my best friends to this day, like who all live in different places and do different things, but like we still like chat like every single day. Like, no way. Like I want them. Like I don't want the job. Like, and it's just sort of like this cool lesson of like how much more important I think people are than, you know, titles and stuff like that.
Tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things that you might not say to someone you've just met. I'm gonna go the fun route because the first time we had to answer positive things about each other, this is just what we like about each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the energy I needed. I think the ability to fix things and the drive to fix things and like that engineering mindset is so hot.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Just like someone that I know would help me get out of any situation is like,
We found the right guy.
Yeah, great.
There we go.
Sarah just brought the heat. In so many words, she just said, "You're hot." And Tommy could not be happier. Now we just need a steamy response from Tommy. So far, he's been complimenting Sarah on her personality. Which, yeah, duh, she's great. But now he has the green light to go a little further and say something about how nice she looks. He's about to have a golden opportunity with question number 31.
Tell your partner something you like about them already.
Okay, one that we have not talked about yet.
Okay.
I like that you can dress yourself. I like that you can put together an outfit and your socks match your shirt. So many men cannot dress themselves and they wouldn't think to look at those things. And the fact that you put brown boots with khakis in the same color scheme is impactful, that you didn't put black boots while wearing navy. You care about your appearance and how you present yourself to the world, and I admire that.
Wow. I will find something new. And I think it's, Sarah, you just have a really great smile. Like, it definitely, beyond just like obviously being like pretty and stuff, like it just definitely communicates a lot of like warmth and positiveness and some of that confidence and other things that I've talked about, but it really gets like, I'd say, exemplified in the smile and the way you do it. So
thank you.
I've definitely been admiring it. So
thank you. Yeah. I went through years of braces and years of retainers.
Paid off.
And years of wiping them. So I'm glad that it's showing up.
Well done.
I invested in these bad boys. They are my own though. I do not have veneers.
Well done, Tommy. Well done. And can I endorse what Sarah said? Guys, take an extra second to think about what you're going to wear before you go on your next date. A smart look can go a long way.
Share a personal problem and ask your partner's advice on how he or she might handle it. Also ask your partner to reflect back to you how you seem to be feeling about the problem you have chosen.
Makes you happy.
I don't really feel like I'm missing a piece.
Yeah,
and I don't feel like it's like I feel lost. It's more so like, how do I stay positive when dating has not worked out in my favor for so many years?
And so I think it's that, which I think you do have, of like your confidence in yourself and your love for yourself that it seems like you do possess, which is really good. And I think to knock it down, like, hey, like dating hasn't worked, or you've tried these things and like stuff hasn't hit, or I've definitely gone through some of the same thing. And I think it's like, it can be hard to parse out like what's like an ego desire, like what's hey, I'm trying to make myself feel whole, versus like what's a like heart, soul desire. But if I truly think if it stays around long enough and it is a heart, soul desire, like it will happen. And I'm giving myself some advice here too.
Believe it.
Knowing you and like knowing the whole
like,
story.
You're
like
able to do all of these things, but the one thing you can't figure out is dating, and it's driving you crazy.
Yeah, no, and I definitely go through that same feeling sometimes too. And so I see that, and I think it's really understandable, because it's like you look in the mirror and you like look at your life and you're like, this should be like a slam dunk.
It seems like it
this seems like a slam dunk, like just a home run. Like this should be super easy. Why is it not? And you just, I wonder the same thing sometimes too, and you just never know until things do work out. So trusting that desire is there for a reason, I would say.
To not give it up.
Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Eye contact for 4 minutes.
Okay, just as silence?
Just as in silence. Quality time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, your favorite. So we just do this and...
You're not looking at me.
Sorry. Look at the thing. Just get comfortable.
We could have just turned off the cameras here and let them have the room. I mean, did you see how they just turned to completely face each other? Looking into a stranger's eyes for 4 minutes is not easy. But they look like they're taking in the Mona Lisa.
Well done. I like your eyes and your shirt match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah. I don't know why it took me so long to notice that, but as we were sitting there and doing that, I was like, oh yeah, hey, look at that.
Hey, look at that.
Look at that.
Okay, well maybe these 36 questions are onto something. I have a feeling this isn't the end of the road for Sarah and Tommy. But there's only one way to know for sure. Subscribe to follow along and see if these two meet again.